Hey guys, hope you can hear me. Welcome to another edition of the Long Range Corner with your host Matt Bardeen. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going to happen with this segment of the channel. Basically, I went through and I started analyzing what's going on with my subscribers, what's going on with the channel, and I've had pretty steady growth of the channel up until about the time I started doing the Long Range Corner. To give you an example, the subscribers that I've gained through videos has been large. I'll say that. But the subscribers that I've lost through videos has also been, it's increased quite a lot with the Long Range Corner. So I wanted to discuss a little bit about why I think that's happening and what I want to do about that. So yeah, over the past year or so, I've lost 26 subscribers through videos. You know, people just seeing a video and unsubscribing. And yeah, that's normal, right? That you figure that would happen. But what I've noticed is in the past 90 days, basically since I've started doing the Long Range Corner, I've lost 19 subscribers. So 19 of the 26 have been lost since I started doing the Long Range Corner. And that's kind of concerning to me. That indicates that there's a little bit of a problem, and there's more that have been lost since in other aspects. You know, they unsubscribe when they receive the notification or something like that. So I really want to do something about that, and I think what I've decided to do. Let me get to my live stream here. I'm not sure where you guys are, so I can see what you guys are saying. There is something nice that's happening now. Evidently, YouTube has finally implemented the live view of the chat. So people viewing these videos later on will see the live view. That's cool. So thank you for that. They'll see the chat. So thank you for that, YouTube. That will make things a little bit easier for us streamers. Yeah, so my thoughts on what's going on with the channel, my thoughts on what's going on with my subscriber count. And yeah, I say I don't look at the subscriber count, but I do. You know, it is kind of important to me. So I think what's happening is people come to Chilivuela for a specific type of video. You know, epic scenery out in the middle of nowhere, and the Long Range Corner kind of escapes that a little bit. So I think what I want to do, or actually I know what I want to do, I'm going to split the Long Range Corner off into its own channel. You can find the link to that channel in the description. This will be the last episode of the Long Range Corner that I broadcast here on Chilivuela. But I'm going to start doing it on its own channel. And hopefully that will allow the people that want to subscribe to Chilivuela for the flight videos to enjoy the flight videos and not have to worry about, you know, what's going on with the live streams and get notifications to the live streams, etc., etc. So yeah, that's basically what my plan is for what's going on with the Long Range Corner. And I think that makes a little bit more sense as well. One of the things that I've really wanted to do is open up the Long Range Corner to guest broadcasters, you know, guys that are out there doing the stuff and that can answer some of your questions better than I can. So that's my thought, is to do something a little bit more generic, a little bit more interesting, and not necessarily linked with my channel. So hopefully you guys are down with that, understand where I'm coming from there. It's been kind of disconcerting to me to see so many people unsubscribing from my channel. I don't like that. I think I've got good content. I feel like I've got good content, and I want to share it. So the fact that they're unsubscribing makes me worried. So tonight, Fuller's London Black Cab Stout is what's on the menu. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to discuss with you. Yeah, there are so many content makers out there. I understand that. I want Chili Vela to stay like it is, to stay as mainly Flight videos, maybe a few vlogs here and there, but leave it there. And I like to see the Long Range Corner become its own live broadcast, have a life of its own, apart from Chili Vela, apart from me, in reality, because I think there's a lot of good content creators out there that they could use the exposure, and I think they could. Well, I'm not sure a lot of them want to come on live. Maybe not. But I really do want to see more content out there dedicated to long-range flying, especially long-range mini-quads. There's a ton of information out there on planes, long-range planes, but there's not so much out there on long-range mini-quads. So Long Range Corner is going to be more or less dedicated to mini-quads with some planes there, and going to be its own separate entity. Yeah, so let's see, what else do I want to talk about tonight? That was the main thing. That's been out of my mind for a while, and I've been trying to figure out what I want to do. And I think that getting that out there, I think that's good. Yep, that sense of social, that's what I want to encourage. I want to encourage sharing of information on the channel or apart. Or yeah, on the channel basically. For those of you guys that don't know, there is a Facebook group that I'm admin of. I'm a admin of. I'll put it that way. It was started by Josh Kidder. Mike Virgin is in there. Obsidian FPV. Do check him out. And that's Obsidian _FPV. You can't really find him otherwise. And who else is in there? Diego, I forget his last name. I'm sorry, Diego. But it's called the Long Range Hooligans. That's the Facebook group, Long Range Hooligans. And if you want to learn more about long range, go there. There's tons of information. It's rather small, probably about 2,000 people in the group right now, but a lot of good information about long range flying. Yeah, no worries, Mike. I understand. Basically, if you ever get the itch or interest to do an episode on maybe what you're flying or what you want to do, what you want to, I don't know, what you're flying, what your plans are, yeah, you know where to find me. Banny, how you doing, man? We have royalty in the channel. Yeah, so let's talk about my recent flight. I know some of you have seen it. 4.8 kilometers up to Volcan Planchon. As you saw, well, there are some issues with the video. The DVR, for some reason, didn't record. I'm using the DVR from my buddy, and he says I told him the wrong channel. I told him the right channel. I know I told him the right channel. But he was on the wrong channel for the first part of the flight, for the first 6 minutes of a flight. So a lot of those brown pants moments that you saw, the ones that you basically just static, especially around the 6-minute mark, he was actually changing his channels. So I had pretty decent video. Towards the end of the video, that was more or less representative of what I was seeing. There was some periodic interference, some blasts of interference on 5.8, and as well on Crossfire. So you can see the link quality just drop at times, and then go back up, and then drop, and then go back up, and then drop. So it really was quite a nasty RF situation. And I really think that it's mainly due to the volcanic activity in that area and the high copper content of the mountains. I mean, some of the mountains, they were just green. If you looked at them in the daylight, they're just green, and that's just oxidized copper. So I think that was really wrecking havoc with the RF environment. I would have really liked to summit that, because I think the quad had enough, I'm pretty sure the quad had enough juice in it to actually summit. But given the RF environment, given that I was at 2 watts and the link quality was dropping to about 40, I said, yeah, no, I'm going to call it there and just come back with the quad. I didn't want to walk that far. So, what's the turnaround point at link quality? I go by link quality, I go by power, and I go by the RSSI. So all the information there I use. Over 100 or under 100 minus 100 dBm is really bad link RSSI. So right around, I think the turnaround point was around the 8 to 9 minute mark, somewhere around there. If you saw that RSSI was getting to around minus 90, minus 85 dBm, the max power, it was already at max power, it was at 2 watts. And Manny says, I just fly until I fail safe and then turn back. And yeah, the link quality was dropping to about 50, 40 at times. And usually at 40, you want to turn back. So that's what I gauged it by. Yeah, I didn't want to fail safe, Manny. I didn't want to walk that far. That would have entailed a little bit of kayaking and then hiking up the mountain to retrieve the quad. And I wasn't up for that. I fly long range because I'm lazy. I don't like hiking. And this Trappy sent a new quad. I was using the stock antenna on the TX. I tried the Diamond earlier and had some problems with that as well. I'd like to get the True Moxon from True RC. That's a directional antenna, and I think that would have actually gotten me the whole distance. A lot of these flights that I do, I feel like is not really necessary to be transmitting behind me. So a directional antenna for the transmitter would probably be quite useful. I wish Trappy would send me new quads. I've had to pay for my last 2, 3. I got a 50% discount once. So thanks for that, Trappy. But yeah, if you want to send me more quads, go right ahead. I'm poor. Not really, but yeah, I really want to get that True Moxon in. I think that's going to be a good antenna for the type of flying I do. For general use, I use the normal antenna and it works just fine. Helical, yeah, that'd be cool. Circular polarized antenna. You'd have to have a if you fly over. Actually, if you notice, I started out flying low, and I noticed that the link quality was bad, so I had to raise up and get a little bit higher in the hopes of getting a little bit less interference, but that didn't help any either. So I really wanted to do a kind of a low climb all the way up the mountain, but unfortunately, that just didn't happen. Yeah, you could say that. RF there looks shitty as fuck. Yes, indeed. The RF situation was extremely, extremely bad. It was... Yeah, what can you say? What can I say? Yeah, so, and then I had a couple questions on my mounting for the antenna. Let me grab that. So I had a couple questions on how the RX antenna was mounted, and this is basically how it is. Basically straight up and down. It's not really ideal because this isn't 90 degrees, but it's full length and it gets the antenna more or less out of the shadow of the carbon fiber. So that's basically how I've got it mounted, and it's just basically the stock antenna. I don't have the Immortal T on there. Not much use. And of course, VTX antenna fairly close. Immortal T is probably going to be a little bit harder to mount on this, mainly because how do you get the bottom part clear from the carbon fiber? And that's my issue with the Immortal T on this. So that's why I'm using the stock antenna. And this basically, I've used it. It's gone 5.2 kilometers on this antenna, so I know it's good. I know the mounting's good. It's just, well, the RF environment was pretty shitty, as you saw. Yeah, props to Gonzalo Gonq for the antenna installation. That was him. No way to get a 2.4 gigahertz VTX in there, not easily, no. I do have the Diamond. I was just trying it this weekend, Mike. Well, not this weekend, the weekend past. But I was having problems with the transmitter, and I thought that was related to the Diamond antenna. Unfortunately, it wasn't. So I need to try it again. The reason why you don't want to cut out the bracing Isle of Mull is because this is, I'm not sure if you can see it, probably too bright now, but this is the foam core. So if you cut out the bracing here, these arms will be really, really flimsy. It's already quite flexy as it is. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it flexes quite a bit when you move it. So you don't really want to cut out the bracing. And to be honest, this frame is 310 grams as you see it. So I don't think it needs to be any lighter. Vertical mounting, yep, that might work. Let's see, do I have an Immortal T anywhere handy here? No. It'd have to be something like out here. Maybe something 3D printed would be a good idea. Maybe more like that. Something 3D printed would be a good idea. It'd have to be fairly long, and that would add weight. So one of the things with this frame is I really tried to make it as light as possible. As for the 2.4 gigahertz VTX, what you find is this is the case for the 2G4 500 milliwatt, and it won't fit in between the standoffs. So that's one of the major problems with fitting a 2.4 gigahertz VTX on this frame. You actually have to decase it to get it to sit in there. That's what I did initially. And then you've got other issues because it's just a pain. So this is on 5.8. This one right here is on 5.8. It's a FP Vision. That's what I've been clamoring for, a 2.4 gigahertz FP Vision for basically ever. because I could really use it on the G2. I could really use it on all my other frames that I've got. So yeah, 5.8 will take you quite a bit. My only problem with 5.8 is the cutoff isn't as nice. For example, my last G2, I lost because basically 5.8 just cut immediately, and I thought it was a hardware problem and didn't even realize I was out of line of sight until I reviewed the footage. 2.4 gigahertz gives you a little bit more warning before cutting out. So that's why I like 2.4. You get some added benefits. You get the ability to fly behind trees. So 5.8 really doesn't do well behind trees. Yeah, but if you go out of line of sight, Benny, it's going to cut out immediately anyway. That's the thing is that what I'm talking about is the cutoff when you leave line of sight, when you go behind an obstacle. 5.8 just basically travels straight. 2.4 is a little bit longer and it can bend around just a little bit more. And that's what I'm talking about. You get that little bit of leeway for knowing when you're about to do something really stupid. Yeah, I've been out to 2 kilometers and I've dipped behind rocks and on 2.4, and it gets bad, but not too bad. It's still flyable. On my wing, I'm going to use 2.4. As you can see, I've got the True RC Singularity. Those are really nice. I really love these. I haven't used them as much as I wanted to, but I really like those. Yeah, what else? I don't have much else for you guys. Solution: don't dip behind rocks. Right? What are you talking about, Benny? That's half the fun. Have you seen where I fly? Man, there's so many rocks. So many pillars sticking up. How can you not fly behind those? No, absolutely. That's why I want 2.4. I want that little bit of security, a little bit more security. Moisture in the air definitely affects 5.8. Definitely affects 5.8. 2.4, a little bit less. If you look at some of Bryce Prestwich's videos, he'll fly up into the clouds or he'll fly up into the fog, and he says the video gets pretty bad, pretty dodgy. He said at one point he couldn't decide if it was snowing or if it was just basically he just had all sorts of interference on his video. So yeah, 5.8 is particularly bad for moisture. 5.8 is, if you look at microwave radiation, microwaves use right around 5.8, and that's because 5.8 gigahertz is readily absorbed by water. So, yeah, there you go. 2.4, a little less so. Yeah, I saw your long range track, Mike. That looks pretty killer. I've been looking at those Plink wings, but since I haven't flown my Drac with the normal wings, yeah, not going to get them yet. Batty says, don't fly long range. Absolutely not. That's half the fun. That's why. If I hadn't have found it, let me try talking. If I hadn't started doing long range, I probably wouldn't be flying right now, because long range is just killer fun. I mean, you can't beat that rush of sending your quad out 5 kilometers and then You know, you never know if you're going to get it back. It's Russian roulette, but it's just a rush. Yeah, if you want to fly a long range in a simulator, you want to get GTA 5. That does long range. Long range is the same as intense ass-clenching action. Yeah, that... Once you lose a few quads, then you start getting to the point where, yeah, it doesn't really bother you going out. My Alien, I've taken that out to 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers now. 2 kilometers, somewhere around there. And it's... Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'll just send it. I've been out to 5 kilometers. I know the same equipment on the Alien 5 is on my G2, so I know it'll do it. I know it'll do 5 kilometers. So 2 kilometers, yeah, I'm just going to send it. Not even going to worry. Definitely, long range for me is not about range per se, as Gon says. Long range for me is about going where I want to go. So if I don't have a place where I want to go that's long range, I guess I don't fly long range, right? So I don't do it just to see, you know, how far I can get. That's some of the challenge. But a lot of the challenge is, hey, I want to go see the top of that mountain. Let me go up there. And that's why I do long range, right? So it's not just to see, oh, I can get 20 kilometers. No, I want to get there. I want to fly that. I want to dive that mountain. So that's my view of long range. That's why I do it. Not necessarily because, I want to see, I want to go 20 kilometers on my quad. No. 20 kilometers over flat land, yeah, that's pretty boring, to be honest. Well, 1.3 is definitely good. I've talked to some guys that are using linear antennas. All right, see you, Banny. Thanks for stopping by. 1.3, you can probably get away with the dipole antenna, the little rubber ducky, because you've got so much latitude for flight. So you don't necessarily need a circular polarized antenna on 1.3. Since wings on Crossfire and 5.8 go far due to spaced out antennas and no carbon, if one mounted antennas under the frame of a drone, would that help? Well, yes and no. It would help going out. It would suck coming back in. And let me explain. If you think about the type of flying I do, where I'm going up a mountain, yeah, the bottom of the drone is exposed as I'm flying away from myself. However, when I turn around and come back, I'm probably flying at about 90 degrees, maybe coming down a hill. Where are the antennas? The antennas are behind the carbon fiber. So yeah, it will help going out, but it will suck coming back in. And I don't know about you, but I prefer to have my weakest signal going out rather than coming back in. Because I know if I turn around that I'm going to have good signal. Have another drink. No, I think my half liter of beer will do me quite well. Quite a good turnout today. Thanks, guys, for coming out. Test tune match antennas. No, I'm not that motivated. I'm not that interested in getting all the way, getting the most out of my equipment. Let me rephrase that. I'm not that interested in getting the range. So I don't test and tune. I basically just send it. If you ask Gonzalo, I'm probably a little bit too risky with my quads, which may be true. But, yeah, it's just a piece of carbon fiber and some plastic. Not really important. Just going to send it. Yes, long-range beer. All the way from London. Fuller's. That's what they've got at Jumbo. So, and it's good value. Right. I'm not sure what else I've got for you guys tonight. Got any more questions for me? I think I've answered pretty much all of you guys' questions. I'm sure you got more, but... And my beer is almost done. So, and it's 30 minutes. Believe it or not, it's hot in here. So, yeah, I think I'm going to call it. Not too many more questions there. Next week, check me out on the Long Range Corner. The link is in the description of this video. Yes, my car is alive. I'll have to do a video of that at some point. Anyways. Hope you guys have a good night and a good week, and we'll see you next week on the Long Range Corner.